of Brewers, the home of homebrew. Don't forget to like and subscribe. G'day! Welcome to League of Brewers. Dan here, and I'm back in the shop with some boiling water. Great, eh? Well, actually, this boiling water is destined for this Black Rock kit here. So I don't know if most of you guys in New Zealand would have seen the Black Rock bag in a box beer kits. These are great, super easy to use. There's no mucking around with extra cans or enhancers or anything like that. So what we're going to do with this guy today is we're going to pimp this up and we're going to make it taste exceptional. We're going to whirlpool some hops with this bag in a box. Now, the reason we're going to do what we're doing here is with extract kits, just going to open this while we're talking. With extract kits, it's very hard to get hop flavour into an extract kit. And the reason for that is it needs to be cooked down from a very watered down wort, and they reduce it down and reduce it down and reduce it down to give you that thick syrup, which we're going to pour in here. Here we go, it's going in. So to get hop flavour and aroma into a beer kit either takes dry hopping, which is very common because it's easy, or doing it this way, or both. Now over here I've got 45 grams of Wakatu and 30 grams of Rewaka hops. So back to talking about getting flavour of hops into your brew is very hard to do that in a pre-packaged form. So that's why we do it ourselves by doing what I'm doing. So you can add flavour and aroma by dry hopping, but it doesn't quite give you the same full-bodied flavour as doing it on a warm side, which this Whirlpool will be doing. So I can't even get this bag open. 1 second, guys. A knife will do it. Doing it this way, we call it a Whirlpool. What that means is we put our hops into a vessel and we get a whirlpool going like this, getting all the flavour out of the hops. Normally this process would last for around about 10 to 15 minutes. Damn, that smells good. I can really smell the Rewaka hops in there. So this will give us more depth of flavour than just dry hopping. We're still going to dry hop this in the fermentation, and the amount of hops that I would normally use just for dry hopping will be split across this hot addition and dry hopping. So yeah, we've got about 90 grams altogether in here. So I'm going to put about 50 grams of hops in the dry hop stage later down in the fermentation, and that's enough for the style. So this is going to emulate sort of like a Kiwi Pilsner style. I don't want it too hoppy, you know, sort of in the 4 to 5 IBU range. Not 4 to 5, I mean 4 to 5. And you can do the same with other kits. So over here we have a whole raft of other kits here. So if you wanted to pimp your brew using any of these here, you could do so. For instance, if you took Mangrove Jack's Cold IPA, which requires an enhancer to go with it to make 23 litres, you could pour both of those in the pot and whirlpool your hops as we're doing here. But any of these kits here, you can do the same. These are great, super easy to use. There's no mucking around with extra cans or enhancers or anything like that. Okay guys, so it's been about 10 to 15 minutes. I haven't been stirring the whole time. It's just sort of basically give it a stir, wait for 2 or 3 minutes, give it another stir, to up to about 15 minutes. The cooker is on a really low heat just to keep the warmth in there, but this temperature is actually starting to drop now. We're at probably around about 65, 70 degrees. So that's job done. We've whirlpooled our hops in, and I can see the oils on the top there. That's the difference between dry hopping and whirlpooling. You get far more flavour from whirlpooling. So we need to cool this down now. So we're going to take our trusty pot and submerge in some cold water. So yeah, we'll leave that there to cool down to about 20 degrees, and once it's at 20 degrees we shall proceed to put it into the fermenter. So just gently agitating the wort here, guys, just to help cool it down and move that around the inside of the pot there so the water has good contact. Guys, here we are. So you can see the wort is starting to cool here, and you can see all the proteins moving around in there. There'll be some hot material which is actually sunk to the bottom. But this is actually, might be quite hard to see, but the proteins are floating around in there. They all drop out. So amazingly, you don't see that when you don't heat it up. Okay, so you can see here that everything is sunk to the bottom and it's cooled right down. So we're going to transfer it to our bucket now. Very important part of the step here is to make sure that you dry the outside of your pot. If you have any water droplets falling from the outside of your pot into your fermenter, it's a good possibility you're going to add some bacteria there. So I've learned from that in the past. It's an easy thing to forget. So there we are, nice dry pot. Now we've got our trusty sieve over here, and that's why I was sanitizing it before in the boiling hot water. So we're going to try and remove as much of the hops as we can. Luckily they've all sunk to the bottom. All right, in it goes. You can see all those hops starting to catch in the sieve there. We have to do it in 2 stages, I think. You can also get a hop spider. Also, if you're doing this in like a Grainfather or a BrewZilla or some sort of brew system, you know how easy it is because it has all the built-in sieves and everything to remove all of the hops. Basically, I don't want these hops sitting in the brew for, 2 weeks. All the flavour's been removed from them. The oils have all been extracted. So we're just going to rely on the wort having all the flavour. Excuse me while I get rid of this. All right. Roll on the next one. Oh, tricky business. I got it on the wrong side, you see. Over there. There's always a method to the madness. All right. It doesn't matter if you get a little bit of hop in there. I just don't want all of it sitting in the bottom of the brew for, 2 weeks. Let's say I run out of time and I don't get time to transfer my beer into the keg or bottle or whatever you're doing. I'd rather not those hops be sitting in there. So yeah, after I've done this, I'm just going to top it up with cold water up to the 23 litre mark. This bag in the box, I think, 5.3% at 23 litres. If you wanted it a bit stronger, you just add less water. Let's say 21 litres. But yeah, if you're time poor and you're looking to fill a keg or just get a brew on, this is a really good way to get a decent beer for yourself. So yeah, I hate buying beer. I know most of your home brewers do, and it's time is of the essence. So yeah, that's a really good way of making a nice hoppy beer. So let's say you wanted to do a pale ale or an IPA. You might add more hops than I've done here. So we've added 80 grams in the Whirlpool for the, this is like an NZ style Pilsner. For an APA, you might add anywhere from 80 to 100 grams in the Whirlpool. And then the same in dry hopping. Let's say you want to make an IPA. Maybe you add 150 grams in the Whirlpool and 150 in the dry hop. So you can sort of mix it up as you go. But yeah, in terms of getting flavour and aroma into your beer kit, I feel this is the best way. Another thing you could add to is grains, if you wanted to do like a mini mash. But this is probably just as easy. And with these bag and box kits, you get really good flavour. So there we are, folks. We got all our wort in the bucket, and then I'll top it up with water, cold water, up to the 23 litre mark. Put the lid on, and then because it's a lager, we've got a lager yeast. I'm actually going to ferment this really cold. So when the wort's at 12 degrees, I'll add my yeast. And I've got my rack temperature controller here, which I'll have set to 12 degrees. Put a jacket on it and let it ferment. Yeah, so I'll dry hop it with another 60, 70 grams of Wakatu split with rewaka, and we'll get it into the keg and we'll give it a sample. But I reckon it's going to be pretty good, speaking from experience. Yeah, so if any of you folks out there want to know more about how to pimp your homebrew kit, your beer kit, just get in touch. Thanks for watching, and happy brew. Cheers. Yeah, it's nice to maybe put that stuff in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the extra finishing touches, like we did actually finish it.